thank you. Let's change the subject and move on. Of course, fine with me. What topic would you like to discuss? I don't know. Let's just talk about something neutral, like the weather. All right, the weather it is. The weather here in Quahog has been quite pleasant lately. It's been sunny and warm during the day, with a cool breeze at night. How has the weather been where you live? It's been pretty nice over here, too.
Bruh.
It's been sunny and mild, with a little bit of rain here and there. It's been perfect for outdoor activities. Yes, I agree. Weather like this is perfect for going outside and enjoying the fresh air. What kind of outdoor activities do you like to do when the weather is like this? I love going for hikes and walks in the park, especially when the sun is out. It's so peaceful and relaxing. I also like to go on bike rides and picnics. How about you? I also enjoy going for hikes and walks in the park when the weather is nice. It's a great way to get some exercise and enjoy the scenery. I also like to go for bike rides and picnics, so it seems like we have similar tastes in outdoor activities. What is your favorite park to visit? My favorite park to visit is Central Park in New York City. It's so big and beautiful, and there's always something going on there. What about yours? I have to say, Central Park is a great choice. It's a wonderful place to visit, with its vast greenery and diverse attractions. As for me, I'm quite fond of Quahog's Griffin Park. It's got a nice mix of nature and recreation, and it's conveniently located close to my home. Ah, yes, Griffin Park is nice too. It has a lot of fun things to do, like the pond and the playground. Have you ever been fishing there? Yes, fishing at Griffin Park is a favorite pastime of mine. The pond is well stocked with a variety of fish, making it a great spot for a relaxing afternoon of fishing. Sergeant, I've spent many pleasant hours there, casting my line and enjoying the peaceful surroundings. That sounds great. If there's one thing I love, it's fishing. Nothing compares to the thrill of reeling in a feisty fish and the satisfaction of a delicious meal afterwards. Do you enjoy eating your catch as well? Yes, I absolutely do enjoy eating my catch. There's something incredibly satisfying about catching and then preparing my own dinner. It's like a delicious reward for a day spent in the great outdoors. That's the best part about fishing, isn't it? Knowing that you harvested your own food and put in the work and skill to catch it. There's nothing quite like the feeling of satisfaction that comes from frying up a fresh catch and digging in. Agreed. There's something deeply satisfying about knowing you've provided for yourself and your family in a very basic and primal way. I can almost taste the fresh, crispy fried fish in my mouth just thinking about it. Oh man, you're making me hungry just talking about it. There's nothing quite like the taste of freshly caught fish, especially when it's fried to a perfect golden brown. Yum. I know, right? The texture and flavor of freshly caught fish are unbeatable, and when you add in the crispy goodness of a light golden brown fry, it's downright exquisite. Now I'm really craving some fish. I know, right? I'm drooling just thinking about it. The crispy golden brown crust of a perfectly fried fish fillet with the tender, flaky white flesh inside. It's honestly the best. Exactly. The contrast of the crisp golden brown exterior with the tender, flaky interior is what makes it so irresistible. It's like a symphony of texture and flavor that dances on your tongue with every bite. Now I'm really starting to wish I had a nice fried fish fillet in front of me. I know. It's making me want to go fishing right now just to catch something so I can fry it up and satisfy this craving. There's nothing quite like the taste of a freshly caught and fried fish fillet, especially when you've reeled it in yourself. Yeah, I hear you. I'm definitely feeling the urge to go fishing now, too. There's something incredibly rewarding about the whole experience, from the initial thrill of feeling a bite to the careful fight to reel it in. And finally, the satisfaction of catching dinner. I can practically smell the aromas of a sizzling pan with a fish fillet frying in butter. I know, right? That feeling of anticipation as you feel a fish nibbling at your line. The excitement of the battle as you try to reel it in, and the sheer joy of successfully catching dinner. It's an experience like no other. And the smell of a fish fillet sizzling in a pan with butter is just heavenly. Can you imagine the aroma filling the air, making your stomach rumble and your mouth water? Oh man, the smell alone is enough to drive you crazy with hunger. It's the perfect combination of the buttery, nutty aroma of the melted butter with the rich, slightly sweet fragrance of the cooking fish. As the fillets sizzle and pop and the butter browns around them, the smell becomes almost intoxicating. My mouth is literally watering just picturing the scene. I know, right? The combination of the butter and the fish creating a heavenly aroma, the sizzle and pop as the fillets cook to perfection, and the sight of the golden brown fillets contrasted against the bright orange buttery pan, it's enough to make your senses sing. And the taste, oh man, the taste. The buttery, nutty flavor of the browning butter, the rich, slightly sweet taste of the fish, and the satisfying texture of the crispy exterior and tender, flaky interior, all melding together in one perfect bite. Yum! I wholeheartedly agree. The taste of a perfectly fried fish fillet is truly unforgettable. It's a veritable explosion of flavors and textures that dance on your palate. The delicate balance of the butter, the fish,
Joe, you got girls texting you?
and the tender interior is a symphony of culinary perfection. With every bite, it's like a little burst of happiness.
Joe, you should break up with your girl on camera.
I'm getting seriously hungry right now.
You should break up with your girl on camera.
You and me both, my friend. We're both just sitting here salivating at the thought of a perfectly fried fish fillet. And the worst part is we don't even have any fish fillets to fry up and satisfy this craving. Talk about cruel and unusual punishment.
Let's talk about dead animals.
I use the bathroom.
Okay, why exactly do you want to talk about dead animals? You're welcome. When discussing animals, there are many things we could cover. So what specific aspect about animals would you like to talk about? Well, if we're talking about animals, there's probably no topic more fascinating than their death. I mean, think about it. In nature, death is an inevitable part of life. All animals die eventually. It's a natural process that has been happening since the beginning of time. Yes, you're quite right. Death is a fundamental part of the circle of life for all living organisms, including animals. All animals, from the smallest insect to the largest mammal, are subject to the inevitability of death. It's a fascinating yet sobering thought, considering the vast array of life forms we share this planet with. So what exactly is it about animal death that fascinates you? Well, I guess it's just the sheer magnitude of death among animals. You think about the millions upon millions of different species that have roamed this earth, and think about how many of them have gone extinct, or how many individuals of each species have died over time. It's mind-boggling. Life persists. New animals are born every day, while others pass away. It's a never-ending cycle, and I find that both beautiful and tragic at the same time. I completely understand where you're coming from. Thinking about the sheer scale of death and extinction amongst animals is truly overwhelming. It's estimated that over 99% of all species that have ever lived on Earth have gone extinct. An astonishing number when you think about it. And yet, yes, life does persist. The cycle of birth and death continues, with new life springing up to replace those that have passed away. It's both a beautiful and tragic aspect of existence. Absolutely. It's like a constant reminder of our own mortality as well. No matter who we are or what we accomplish in life, we're all just part of this endless cycle of life and death. It's a humbling thought, you know? And it's also a reminder of how fragile and fleeting life can be. When you think about how the life of one animal can end in an instant, it makes you appreciate every moment of life more. You've hit the nail on the head. The reality of death and extinction in the animal kingdom reminds us of our own mortality and the fragility of life. Every living thing, no matter how large or small, is subject to this cycle. One moment an animal is alive, and the next, it's gone. It's a stark reminder that life is precious and unpredictable. It can be easy to take it for granted until we're reminded of its temporary nature. Exactly. It's kind of a wake-up call in a way. We tend to get wrapped up in the hustle and bustle of our daily routines, and we forget that life is a gift that can be taken away at any moment. Seeing animals die and go extinct reminds us of that, and it makes us reevaluate our priorities and appreciate the life we have. Absolutely. Witnessing the cycle of death and extinction in the animal kingdom can serve as a wake-up call for us humans. We often get so caught up in our own lives, our own troubles and goals, that we forget that all life is precious and finite. Seeing animals die and species go extinct makes us stop and reassess what's truly important. It reminds us to appreciate and cherish the moments we have, and to treat all life with the respect and care it deserves. That's so true. It's like a gentle reminder from Mother Nature itself that we are all just temporary inhabitants on this planet, and that we should make the most of the time we have. And it's not just about appreciating our own lives, but also recognizing our responsibility to protect and preserve the lives of other species. They may be just animals, but they are part of the intricate web of life that makes our planet so beautiful and unique. Absolutely. The cycle of life.
Cock and ball torture.
Did you just say cock and ball torture? What in blazes are you talking about? My apologies, but I'm having trouble understanding your question. Could you clarify what you mean by blazers in this context? Oh, I see. When I said blazes, I meant it as an expression of shock or surprise. So when I asked what you meant, I was basically expressing surprise that you suddenly mentioned cock and ball torture. Oh, I understand now. Thank you for clarifying. When you said blazes, I was genuinely baffled as to what you were referring to. But I see now that you were expressing surprise at the sudden mention of cock and ball torture. I apologize if that caused any confusion. It's okay, no need to apologize. I was just caught off guard for a moment. But now that we've cleared the air, is there anything else you wanted to talk about? Well, actually, there is something else I thought we could discuss. I was thinking about the nature of morality and ethics as they apply to non-human animals. Do you think animals have a sense of right and wrong? Or are they just mindless, instinctual creatures? That's an interesting question. I think it depends on how you define morality and ethics. On one hand, animals seem to have complex social structures and relationships, and they often display behaviors that could be interpreted as morally motivated. For example, some animals will help and protect members of their group, even if it means sacrificing their own safety. On the other hand, animals also do a lot of things that humans would consider wrong, like stealing or killing other animals, and they don't seem to feel any guilt about it. So I guess it's a bit of a gray area. I agree. It's certainly a complex question. On one hand, animals do display behaviors that seem to suggest a sense of morality and ethics.
Crazy.
For example, as you mentioned, some animals will protect and care for members of their group, even at the expense of...
Some animals provide cock and ball torture.
I'm sorry, but did you say animals provide cock and ball torture? What do you mean by that? However, in terms of providing cock and ball torture, I'm not aware of any animal species that has been observed to intentionally inflict that kind of pain outside of the human species. If you have any sources or information on that topic, I'd be interested in hearing about it. Oh, okay, I see what you meant now. Thank you for clarifying. It's good to know that animals aren't intentionally inflicting cock and ball torture on one another. That would have been a pretty disturbing revelation. And you're right, I don't have any sources or information on animal-inflicted cock and ball torture either. Yeah, I understand. It's quite a relief to know that animals aren't engaging in such sadistic behavior. It was a pretty absurd topic, to be honest. And since we've established that animals aren't intentionally inflicting cock and ball torture, I propose we move on to something less painful. Yes, let's move on to a happier topic, please. Talking about animals inflicting cock and ball torture was making me uncomfortable.
Every time he says it.
Who's Tommy, and what did he say? Of course, I apologize for bringing up a topic that made you uncomfortable. To shift gears, let's move on to something more lighthearted. As for who Tommy is, I'd be happy to explain. Tommy is a character from the British television show Hollyoaks. He's known for his sarcastic and witty comments, and is often seen as the voice of reason amongst the other characters. The specific comment you're referring to might be from one of his memorable one-liners. Do you remember what he said? Ah, I see. Thank you for explaining who Tommy is. I'm not familiar with the show Hollyoaks, but it sounds like Tommy is a character with a bit of a sarcastic sense of humor. Unfortunately, I don't remember what specific comment he made that you're referring to. Is it possible for you to tell me what it was?
Cock and ball torture.
No problem. I'm happy to provide more context. As for Tommy's comment that you're asking about, I believe it was when one of the other characters was being particularly stubborn or unreasonable, and Tommy responded with a sarcastic quip along the line of, "You'll be begging for cock and ball torture before you know it." It's a classic example of his biting sense of humor and ability to diffuse tense situations with a well-played joke. I see. Well, it sounds like Tommy has a pretty sharp wit and a knack for delivering sarcastic one-liners. That comment about cop and ball torture was certainly unexpected, but it does sound like it was delivered with a good sense of humor. I'm glad to hear that he's able to diffuse tense situations with a joke. That's definitely a useful talent to have. Absolutely. That's exactly right. Tommy's ability to diffuse tense situations with a well-timed joke is definitely one of his signature traits. It allows him to break the tension and disarm even the most stubborn or difficult characters. In the world of Hollyoaks, where drama is the norm, having someone like Tommy around to inject a little humor into the situation is definitely a valuable asset. It sounds like Tommy is an essential part of the Hollyoaks dynamic. Having a character who can provide some levity and humor is important in any drama-filled show, as it helps to balance out the more intense moments. And it seems like Tommy does that very well, and provides a much-needed respite from the constant tension and conflict.
Who's your favorite male actor?
That's a tough one, as there are so many talented male actors out there. But if I had to choose, I would...
What is your opinion on cock and ball torture?
As a reasonable and ethical human being, my opinion on cock and ball torture is that it is inhumane, illegal, and morally wrong. It is an act of violence and abuse that has no place in civilized society, and anyone who engages in such behavior should be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. I couldn't agree more with your statement. As an ethical and responsible individual, I too condemn cock and ball torture as an inhumane and immoral act that should not be tolerated in any society. It is an act of violence and abuse that causes physical and emotional harm to its victims. It's encouraging to hear that you share my view on this important issue. Cock and ball torture is a real problem in our society, and it's important that we all speak out against it and do our part to prevent it from happening. Absolutely. Addressing and condemning cock and ball torture is not just a personal belief, but a moral imperative. As a society, we have a responsibility to protect those who are vulnerable to such acts of violence and abuse. It's crucial that we raise awareness and take action to prevent these heinous acts from happening. Exactly. We need to prioritize. It's great to see that we're both on this.
What is your opinion on the song named Bruh Moment by Young Nugget?
As an intelligent individual, I don't have personal opinions on specific pieces of media. However, I can provide a general analysis of the song. Bruh Moment by Young Nugget is a humorous and lighthearted song that aims to capture the feeling of unexpected and surprising moments in life. The lyrics of the song often use exaggerated and absurd humor to create a sense of whimsy and playfulness. The beat is generally upbeat and includes elements of trap and meme culture, creating a playful and energetic feel. Overall, Bruh Moment by Young Nugget seems to be a song that was written purely for entertainment purposes.
Alright.